For my digital presentation, I chose to review Technical Report 1. Our group decided to analyze smart controller systems for turf irrigation. In other words, we looked at lawn watering controllers that would adjust without any additional programming. Here's what the smart controller system looks like. Pretty complex looking, but once you set it up, in theory, you won't have to make any other adjustments, which is pretty nice. The controller is packed with many equations, algorithms, and science that is able to predict when the grass in question requires watering. When you program the controller, you enter in the soil type, grass type, and other specific factors like the inclination of the plane of grass and the amount of sun it receives. And all these contribute to how the controller determines when the roots need watering. What is really unique about these controllers is that you can connect them together. They use a cellular signal to communicate with a central computer, so for places with a lot of turf, this is actually quite revolutionary. Another major factor is that the controller considers the weather when it schedules its runtime operation. So when it's raining, it will be smart enough to know not to water. And I know you, it's really annoying when it's raining and you see an irrigation system running hard. Naturally, before you get the system installed, getting a lay of the land is always essential. We decided to retrofit the smart controller system to the Tempe Beach Park for our analysis. So essentially the issue here is we have an irrigation system and it's due for replacement, and our site is Tempe Beach Park. A lot of city municipalities budget for replacements of such large systems, so we're assuming that we're pitching the smart controller system as the solution to Tempe Beach Park. To determine whether the smart controller system is the right fit for Tempe Beach Park, as I mentioned before, we'll be exploring the site and also calculating the amount of equipment that we'll need, like the sprinkler heads, and also how many controllers we'll need. And then we'll also need to project a water usage estimate for the cost savings. To find out the amount of area our site entails, we use Google Earth and we're able to map out the area of the park that had grass, as you can see here, highlighted green, and then we also subtracted out the little bits of concrete in the middle there. From here, Google Earth was able to give us a rough estimate of the area of the total park. Using a smart controller system was originally my proposal, and I first learned about smart controller systems through my internship at Dobson Ranch, and we use Rainbird equipment. By going on their website and looking up the sprinkler head coverage range for the system that we had in mind, we were able to divide that area by the total area of the park to get a rough estimate of how many sprinkler heads we would need for our system. Here's a sample of the calculation. You can see we need about 1,600 heads. Probably the most challenging part of the report was estimating or finding an estimation for the amount of water usage for Tempe Beach Park. I found the easiest thing to do was to use my internship data from Dobson Ranch and base their 20% water savings off of the actual amount that was occurring at Tempe Beach Park with the traditional system. With our water estimation done, we totaled up the costs and found it to be around $1,500, which isn't too bad. After using the data, we found that the system is actually quite profitable in the fact that you're able to save a lot of water, especially for larger systems that manage a lot of turf. We ended up upping the total cost to get a better representation of the labor. So now we're at about $26,000 for our investment. And you can see that with the data we've crunched, we're seeing around $15,000 worth of water savings. And so that accumulates for 10 years, thus leading to a profit in the long run. We compared the smart controller investment to taking the amount the system would cost, or $26,000, and running it at different numbers, and you can still see the smart controller competes with these higher investment rates. That summarizes my Tech Report 1, and I hope I convinced you in a smart controller system.